welcome to the end of the year, our last experience of code for 2024. We're honored, blessed to have you with us, and so looking forward to sharing this with you today. Our theme today is the return of the light, which couldn't come at a better time for so many people that we've been talking to. It's a moment of true emancipation and true reclamation of all that is most vital and necessary. For those of you who don't know, this is the Temple of Wholeness. We are a 501c3 church organization dedicated to helping those who are committed to finding more truth, more goodness, more beauty in their own life, and being a source of those three metaphysical fundamentals in the lives of others and everyone here on the planet. So the way this usually goes, our structure for the day is to have Amber lead us in an invocation where we can drop into our bodies, drop into our sensing, into our own awareness. I'll lead a teaching, a transmission. Amber will finish up with a prayer, and then we'll have a nice opportunity at the end to share and be in community with each other. So, without further ado, we'll dive right in with the beautiful and amazing Amber Temple founder.
Thank you so much. And welcome everyone who is joining us here today. I'm so happy to have you. So I'll invite us all to begin by closing our eyes. And as we close our eyes, really being aware of the gaze shifting inwards. And as we begin to deepen and lengthen the in-breath, calling all of your energy that has been engaged externally, busy season, a family, celebration, so much pulling our attention outwards. And as beautiful as all of those things may be, this time in particular is one that asks us to draw more deeply inwards. So allowing ourselves to experience that now. So again, with each in-breath, beginning to draw more and more of your energy particles condensing into the center of your body and being. And as we exhale, allowing ourselves to slide in and down the spine, coming to rest more fully at the base of the spine, the pelvic bowl, allowing a greater sense of arrival in this moment. Just a few cycles of breath in this way, giving ourselves time to fully land here in this space together. And with each exhale, as you feel yourself begin to settle in and down more deeply towards the earth, just allowing a cascading sensation as if you were melting from the crown of your head, melting down through the neck, the shoulders, down the arms and the hands, down the muscles of the back, the front of the body, noticing the jaw and the tongue and the mouth, giving them permission to slacken a bit, to soften. And just tracking your body for these few moments to notice if there's any tension being held unnecessarily, any rigidity that may have taken root. And as soon as you notice it, just giving it permission to soften and release downwards. Creating more internal space. Allowing the nervous system to begin to regulate. Allowing the thoughts to begin to settle. Any emotions to begin to calm. Just as if there was a jar full of water with a little bit of dirt in it. It got shaken up by all the activity. And as you set it down and let the dirt come to rest at the bottom, the water clears, allowing that sense to begin to suffuse your being and your body in this moment. Recognizing that we always have this choice to come back, to still ourselves, to clear the internal waters. From the space internally, we begin to shift our gaze upwards through this central channel as if we're looking up from the heart, looking up through the center of the head, looking up through the crown of the head, and allowing this funnel, this vortex of incoming light to begin to dilate more broadly open, expanding that receptive funnel upwards and outwards. And as we lift our awareness up just a few feet above the head, allow ourselves to hover here for a few breaths, allowing this energetic center that lives outside of our body to begin to come into greater focus. And as we hold our attention, our focus here, breathing into the center, inviting this doorway to open more broadly. With each inhale, more and more particles of light rush in to consolidate, condensing, potentizing the energy at this point. Gathering, building, stacking the energy here. Till it begins to swell with light. A warm, golden, vibrant light. And with the next in-breath, we begin to breathe down from this point and we draw down the spiral of this energy, drawing it down into the crown of the head. And first, pausing here at this in-breath at the crown of the head, receiving fully the light, allowing it to infuse you fully at the center. And as you exhale, allow the energy to move inwards, deeper in towards the center of the head. And as we hold our attention here at this point, the brow point, the third eye, inhaling deeply downwards into the center, allowing it to receive the fullness of this light. Inhaling inwards, drawing it in, and suspending the breath for just a moment. Again, allowing the energy to build here, receiving more of this light into this inner eye, opening into our capacity for greater insight. And as we exhale, allow the energy to move inwards even more deeply, building the energy from within. And on the next in-breath, breathing down from the center into the throat. And again, filling fully here, let it swell with the light as we actively receive this golden source stream, restorative light. And coming to the top of the in-breath, and once again, pausing, suspending here, allowing the light to work this center to create more balance, harmony. And as you exhale, receiving deeply inwards to the center point here at the throat. And with the next in-breath, continue to breathe this source stream down slowly but surely, paying close attention to the sensation as we guide and direct it into each center. Breathing now into the heart. A deep, full, generous breath into the heart. Allow the heart to drink this light in. Once again, suspending at the top of the in-breath. Feeling that fullness pulsing, throbbing at the heart. Melting any hardened edges that no longer belong here. Any unnecessary defenses or walls you may have put up, let them soften with this warm light. And as you exhale, drawing it into this point, into the singularity here, the center of your being, feeling it move in, deeper still. And just take a moment before we move downwards to pause at the bottom of the exhale. Relax and feeling this shimmering, oscillating spaciousness, the heart, opening you more deeply into your essential being. And at the next in-breath, beginning to breathe that down into the next center, our solar plexus. Seeing the golden sun here empowered as it receives this light. And again, suspend, feeling this center glow brighter, receiving as the energy stacks. It builds, it potentizes, it fills you from within. And as we exhale, imploding that energy inwards to the center of this center. See the sun grow brighter as it does so, radiating even more fully as you increase the magnetism, movement inwards. Inhaling downwards now to our sacral center, the pelvic bowl. And allow the warmth of this light to fill this center, the seat of your creative power, vitality. Feeling to the top of the inhale. And suspend as you receive and drink deeply inwards. Receiving this dose of vitality. And as we exhale, moving even more deeply inwards, allowing that energy to implode into the center. Filling your deep cell batteries. All the life force you require. Inhaling down to the root, and go ahead and just gently contract this muscle, the same muscles you would use to stop a stream of urination. Feel that root in space as you breathe into it, holding just a little gentle contraction. To energize this center fully. So the slight contraction just holds the energy, creates a seal here. And suspending, building, noticing any sensations you feel at the center as you hold here. And as you exhale, move it in more deeply. And with the next inhale, we continue to guide this source stream down through the root and into the earth. Inhaling downwards, moving it in the spiral down towards the earth, planting it here in this space where you sit, allowing yourself to be like an acupuncture needle on the earth, transducing this source stream for the benefit of all of the life within and upon this planet. And as you exhale, allowing it to spread and widen, like roots growing in all directions, deeper, deeper down through the many, many layers and levels of the earth, reaching, stretching outwards, forming this tapestry of these filaments of light, the roots extending from your being. And just continuing a few breaths, breathing deeper down, seeing with each exhale that those roots spread wider and deeper, substantiating, creating this massive root ball beneath you of steadiness, stabilizing. And as we rest deeper into the earth, we offer our gratitude carried on this light to Gaia, to her very essence. Gratitude for the gift of this body that we get to experience this life through as an extension of her. Gratitude for her unconditional support, for the endless nourishment, for her overflowing bounty. It is her true nature, reflecting our true nature back to us, of allowing ourselves to tune to the frequency of Gaia, to the Divine Mother, feeling the darkness that is alive, the field of pure potentiality from which all life springs. And within that field of dark, pure potentiality, observing the luminosity here, the dark light that is a very different quality than the golden, bright source stream. Feeling the interplay between them, the dance, the necessity of both. And allow this too to be deeply nourishing, restful. Like the womb where creation plants its seed. And an inner bow of gratitude once again to the mother, to all she provides, to all she makes possible. And with the next in-breath, we begin to breathe up from that dark, luminous vastness of the mother. And as we do, we draw her energy up. And as we begin to move up through all of those many roots, those filaments of light that we've laid here within the earth beneath us, drawing up through each of these roots, see them light up as they drink her nourishment up, and it begins to rise up into the root. Once again, into these centers that we've energized with the source stream, as we slowly rise up, drinking up her essence, offered in pure generosity, as a mother offers milk to her baby. Feeling, seeing, sensing it as a luminous blue plasma as it arrives up into the body, a living light. And breathing at your own pace and time, slowly drinking it up, allowing it to move anywhere in the body that is most requiring this particular frequency of nourishment now. Let this plasma, this living light swirl and whirl through all of your organs, your tissues and sinews, the blood vessels, the lymph system, all of the circulatory systems of the body, reaching into the bones, all the way into the center of the bones, flowing through the bone marrow like rivers of light. And allow the intelligence inherent within this living light to find its way into every nook and cranny. Noticing where it goes, noticing the patterns in which it flows. So as the source stream is a warm, vitalizing current, notice this as a soothing, cooling, softening. And as it moves all the way up and through the body, reaching up into the head, smoothing out any frazzled edges, any raggedness, any exhaustion, calming. It reaches all the way up, back up into this point at the crown, and it fountains up and out like a geyser, flowing up and then back down around the body, flowing in the toroidal field that your energy moves in, and allowing that light to continue to smooth out what needs to be smoothed out, to fill in what needs to be filled in. Cleansing and clearing like a fountain, and carrying all that is no longer serving, anything that may be in excess in your system, creating disturbance, overstimulation, to flow back down to the earth as she drinks it in, saturates the ground beneath you, ready to fully compost what is no longer yours to carry, to offer it back to life, to feed life. And as we come to rest into the center point of the heart now at this meeting place between heaven and earth, Source and Gaia, we rest into the throne that is here within our inner sanctuary, space that is tuned only for you, and observing this downward flowing golden source stream, this vitalizing force of life. And this upward flowing living light, this blue, cool, luminous plasma. And noticing the dance of these energies combining, blending, creating the exact right combination of energies that is most suitable for your system in this moment. And in this space, allowing a gentle smile to lift your lips. In this moment, regardless of what conditions may be present in your life or in the world, choosing to rest into the peace that is always here to be accessed, the equanimity, and allowing waves of gratitude to flow from here, that we are aware that we're aware, aware that we have this choice, and that no matter what is occurring in the external conditions, that we can always choose to return here, to drink in the light, to recalibrate to the goodness, the truth, and the beauty that is at the core of our being, that is ever present for those with eyes to see, tuned to this. Now, maintaining this inner connection, maintaining the peace and the equanimity, resting into our sanctuary, we allow the eyes to gently open into the space. With that, it is my joy to hand it over to you, Matt, to take us deeper and further.
Beautiful. Thank you. Already so deep. How could we go deeper? Let's find out. So, the return of the light is a big topic right now. We are in a moment in our societal and cultural history that is both starting to see light in a new way, but one of light's functions is to expose darkness. And we have been living under much darkness for a long time. And you can see this in, again, societal, cultural, political, all manner of different areas of life that really are looking for a type of emancipation that humanity is ready to start to embrace and take as part of their journey back towards wholeness and oneness. So, our goal today is to give a couple perspectives from which you can start to see the personal and the collective journey of the return of the light, and then to do some practices so that we can be in the deep receiving of that light, which is what most of us actually are so profoundly yearning for. To be that light, to feel that light, to be filled with that light, and then in turn to shine that light on others. Those who are attracted to the work with us, that's the core desire, is to recognize, realize, and emancipate the light within the self. Another thing to realize is that in the sense of the personal transformation, darkness is just bound light. It's just light that's trapped and waiting for movement again. So we get to hold a stance of personal optimism when it comes to this light because we recognize that everything that our light is shining has the opportunity to emancipate that energy and that information that's bound in the darkness. And what a great joy to know that simply by the nature of our being, that we get to liberate the light in reality, within others, within our family, our loved ones, our collective, our community. This is the work of what it means to be an awakening being in the world. So, with that as preface, I want to share a couple of images that are going to help with our practice today. The first set of images is going to talk about a concept in the Hindu tradition called the cycle of yugas. And you may be familiar with this idea, this concept that nature moves in time in a nested cycle of cycles. And that what we are experiencing now has echoes throughout the past of different moments where versions of humanity have been at this same point. So we get to rest into the fact of knowing that humanity has done this before and will do this again. So the way that we are experiencing or looking at the yugas now is through a interpretation by the great sage Sri Yukteswar. And Sri Yukteswar was the teacher of Yogananda. And Yogananda very famously wrote Autobiography of a Yogi and many other treatises. And if you happen to be in Southern California, you'll know the Self Realization Fellowship that has locations in Encinitas and also in LA. So if you look at this image, you can see these arrows of the linearity of time, but also the cyclic nature of time, the cyclical nature. And we have these words on the outside that are describing the Hindu, the Sanskrit words that are describing the types of way that light manifests in the time of these ages. And then the interior circle is going to be the zodiac. And remember, in India, we have um, the tropical zodiac. So it's not the sidereal zodiac that we're used to using in the West, but actually the East. They run in a different procession of the zodiac. But the thing that I want to bring your attention to is this dotted line right here that says present day. And what it said in this concept of the yugas is that the Kali Yuga is the darkest of the dark. It's where humanity goes through its deepest forgetting. It's where humanity is stuck in a place where the light has the hardest time penetrating. And we have currently, most recently, exited this Kali Yuga. And we are entering what is called the energy age, sometimes called the information age, where energy and transformation and information become much more complex and robust. So, while we have been doing this for a few hundred years, really from about the mid 1800s, this moment that we're in is a moment that is done most of its kind of emancipation, done the early phases, and now we're doing a deeper cut into the Dwapara Yuga, which is again all about reclaiming energy, sovereignty, and information and shaking off the bounds of the deep darkness in the Kali Yuga. So, another way to look at this is through a different image here, because this is all describing a great turn around the Milky Way, around the cosmos. So, again, this material age is that Kali Yuga. We are currently exiting a descent through all these arcs and are ascending again into the Dwapara Yuga, the energy age, the information age. So we are early in this cycle, but the promise, the benefit here is that we get to experience this rising arc of more and more and more available light, available spiritual energy, available ascension, and access to a type of assistance in our spiritual path that is so longed for. So just know that you are in a blessed moment in time where this is already happening. And when you pair that with the winter solstice, where in the cycle of the year, and remember, again, cycles within cycles within cycles, if you've been feeling like things are hard, if you've been feeling like it's really challenging, if you've been feeling like it's just not working in the way that you'd like, it makes sense. This is the time of the year in winter when things are hardest. But the sun is getting brighter, the days are getting longer, and we get to return again to this moment in time where things are brightening and we are assisted. So, our next image is going to look at another set of cycles, another set of systems. This may be a very familiar image to you, this idea that we as individuals are living within a nested cycle of energy moving through our body, through our being. This is the shape that they call the torus, right? So we have the central channel of the human. It rises up, it comes down, out and around, and then re enters through the root back up the central channel. So we again are demonstrations of this exact same yogic cycle. The benefit for us as humans, because we have multiple energy bodies, multiple energy selves, multiple minds, is that we have access to the self that is outside of space and time, outside of this cycle, these endless spinning wheels where we feel like we may be lost or just in the role of how nature is playing its cycle of energy. And we get to expand beyond this into what's sometimes called the causal self, or where Amber was leading us today in the vast luminous darkness. And we get to ascend outside of space and time into that perfect, luminous, whole, non dual one. We get to gain perspective and vantage and bring that back down. Now, I'm going to pair this with two other images that are going to assist us in our practice. The first is actually moving out of an idea of cycles and into mathematics, into what they call the Mandelbrot set. So, this idea of the Mandelbrot set is the origin of fractals. And basically, what the mathematician Mandelbrot found is if you zoom into this image in the way the mathematics work, if you zoom into any specific point, it's going to reveal more and more and more of the exact same pattern and the exact same set of relationships and dynamics. So this is the flat 2D image of the Mandelbrot set. The next is going to be an animated image that shows this in that idea of a torus. And that looks like this. So this is one of the images and visualizations we're going to be working with in our practice today. What I love about this is that it's demonstrating, if you look at the center of that arising at the top, we have that ascending channel back up to the divine, and then the descending channel back down into the self and nature. So, if you were to imagine a human being superimposed on this image, we can see how these energy bodies come up and out, reaching towards the divine. And then we can take that light of the divine and bring it back down into the self, into the earth, and liberate it into humanity. So, I know that was a lot of information. Now we're going to put it to practical use. So I'm going to invite you again to close your eyes. And as Amber expertly led us to where we are situated in space, I'm going to invite us to recognize where we are situated in time. This forever now moment, the now and now and now, the infinitesimally small instant is located in a moment, in a minute, in an hour, in this morning, in this day, in this month, in this year, in this decade, in this much larger cycle. So when we go down all the way to the infinitesimal moment now, that now is the exact same now that is present when we expand out through minutes, days, months, years, and even past the cycle of thousands and thousands of years of the yugas. that it takes for the Milky Way to spin, when we expand our awareness and our self beyond that, outside of space and time, again, all we find is the now. So all of this linear and cyclic time is bounded at the maximal, at the macroscopic, the layer of the infinite expansion with a now, and bounded at the micro with the very infinitesimal now. So, my invitation next is to experience yourself in that shape as a torus, where you can feel the energy rising from the infinitesimal now at the root, through the central channel, through the chakras, through the abdomen, up through the solar plexus, through the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, and out and out and out and up and up and up, all the way to the absolute now, to the non dual God now. For God, the now is everywhere and every when. If you experience yourself as all time simultaneously, that is this now. Totally expanded throughout all of time and space, recognizing within you are these same cycles, the cycles of a day, of rising activity, relaxing, and resting. And again, rising activity, relaxing, and resting, all happening within you. And as we expand into this absolute, non dual, perfect, whole version of the self that is God, we experience our perfect luminosity, our perfect light, our perfect, unending, vast, luminous nature. And again, just like that animated image, we're going to reverse that. We're going to grab that light, that imminent now, that imminent, complete, absolute experience of time and light, and pull that back down. All of that light of all the cosmos down through the crown, feeling it saturate through the entirety of the space above your head, into the crown, into the third eye, illuminating the head and the mind, into the throat, saturating your words and expression with God's light, down into the heart, knowing the fulfillment of God's love. That same light in the solar plexus, allowing you to be a radiant quality of energy for everyone around you. Down into the second chakra, allowing you to know your generative capacity, your creativity, your vitality, and into the root, into that infinitesimal now, this now moment. And you can feel the entirety of the cosmos in that torus, into that hollow fractal graphic nature of the self. And from the root, we can rise up again, climbing, 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 back up into the divine, into the non dual absolute, the perfect unending light, grabbing, being, experiencing all of reality as self, as light, and again bringing it back down through the central channel, through the chakras, and back down to the micro, the infinitesimal at the root. Pausing and then climbing again, saturating as light and descending again. In this way, we get to floss our central channel with the light of the divine. We get to let this central channel flood our body, our consciousness, our awareness with all of the light of the Absolute. And we get to draw from any part of us that may be lingering in unconsciousness, any part of the collective that we are that is left in unconsciousness. We get to draw that darkness as fuel up the central channel to feed to God, to the divine, to the absolute, to all of space and time, to illuminate that too. We get to act as a pump of consciousness, drawing down and carrying up until we become so full, so radiant, so crystalline clear that it is quite hard to deny that we are anything but God itself. And it is simply our job, our opportunity, our grateful task, our service to humanity to remember that in this moment, and in this moment, and in this moment. And even in these darkest days of the year, even in these dark times of the grand yogic cycle, we get to experience the return of the light, and we get to return the light to others around us, to all of humanity. We get to be the return of the light for them as they awaken, as we awaken, and as this great chain of illumination from the micro of time and space to the absolute macro of time and space. We get to ascend and descend as we need it. You are all of this. You are all of this for yourself, and you are all of this for all of us. Now take all of that energy, all of that illumination and awakening, and let it softly and gently and peacefully land right in the center of the heart. The three great spiritual gifts are light, love, and life. Let all this light that we've just gathered animate the love at the center of the heart. Let that love fill the entirety of your being. Enjoy the sensation of that love. Let yourself swim in the deliciousness of it. Feel it radiating out into the space around you. Feel your energy bodies emanate that love. Feel it fill the room. Feel it activating the hearts of those in your life. We don't need to lose any love. We don't need to give our love away to awaken the love in others. This is the truth of resonance. When one guitar plays and it's placed next to another guitar, the second guitar's strings will sympathetically vibrate. But the first guitar doesn't have to lose its song for the second guitar to wake up and play. Now take a few deep breaths, just in the pure enjoyment of that sensation in the center of the heart, radiating out through all the selves, throughout all the time and all the space. Feeling all those that it touches. If you have any personal, special intentions that you would like to be carried out on this emanation of light and love, to be amplified in your life, this is the time to set those prayers on the altar of your heart. And with gratitude, we say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to prayer, to pray at the altar of our heart, to realize our own divinity and our own light, to act in service to the collective through our own awakening. and to serve the purpose that we came into this life to serve. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. One more deep breath. Stay in this state as Amber takes us home with a prayer to consecrate and close.
Thank you so much, Matt. I was actually getting the inspiration through all of that to share one of the Temple of Wholeness prayers, which I don't have in front of me. So I wonder if you might be willing to share one of our prayers that have been prepared already.
This is the prayer of purpose. And while we use the word Lord at the top, just know that you can replace that with absolute anything that feels right and good for you. So, universe, God, nature, anything that feels good. Lord, light my path. Help me to see my role here in your kingdom. Illuminate these next steps so that I may take the right actions, speak the right words, inspire the right people in your perfect timing. Help me to act as a node of knowing, as a light of insight, and as a shower of the way, transforming the perfect possibility into the ideal, inevitable outcome. I am devoted to the highest path for the greatest number, including myself, my loved ones, and all those this prayer will touch. Saturate me with all qualities necessary to inspire us all on our path of purpose.